Hey guys, how's it going? Figured I'd try sort of a different video today. Lately I've been kind of on a kick of, just trying to manage my anxiety, things like that, which has been a lifelong kind of journey of mine, I guess. I felt like at certain points in my life I was really anxious, then, maybe my life was a little more stable and it went away, but then later it came back and remanifested in a different way that was, where the same same techniques I'd used in the past weren't really working, and so I've had to make adjustments over time, of course, like anyone. But yeah, anyway, I have just 5 things written down here that are big contributors to anxiety that I've found. I thought it might be nice just to go over them. Maybe helps other people who are having the same problems as I am, maybe thinking the same things. But anyway, get to the list here. Number 1, I just had caffeine. Sorry, my throat's a little messed up. I have caffeine and nicotine intake. And this can really go for other substances too. It's like, if you're starting the morning off drinking caffeinated tea or coffee and you have anxiety, you should probably stop doing that as soon as possible. Caffeine's only going to raise your heart rate. I understand, the appeal in it, just getting that kind of jolt of energy that you feel like you need. But ultimately, I don't know, I feel like there's a sense that, at least for me, it's almost like I've become afraid of being tired or feeling tired. Like, I just don't want to have that feeling like I'm dragging throughout the day. So I've used caffeine and nicotine in the past to try and avoid that. But yeah, so starting off your day with a big cup of caffeine is not going to help. You know, try to switch over to decaf coffee or tea if you can. I mean, you want to wean yourself off of it, of course, because it can have some effects. But yeah, so managing caffeine, nicotine intake of other substances that you may use that may elevate your heart rate or blood pressure. Just do your best to manage that, especially in the morning, because I and I know from my experience, I have a lot of just anxiety when I wake up in the morning for some reason, especially because I work second shift. I start work at like 3 p.m. So when I wake up in the morning, it's just kind of like that antsy feeling of just waiting for it to be time to go to work, and I feel like I can't really get anything good accomplished because I'm just thinking about the time going by. And yeah, that's another thing. Get a first shift job if you can. First shift was so much better when I was on it. When I was working like 6 or 7 a.m. till 2 or 3 p.m. It's just such a better routine to just wake up in the morning, get out of bed, take a shower, eat breakfast, and just start working and moving. Yeah, I would recommend first shift for sure, because second shift sucks. Anyway, number 2, I have lack of activity. That's pretty much a given there. Like, especially if you're drinking that cup of tea or coffee, getting that caffeine, and then you just go, plop down on your couch and watch some Netflix. Your body's going to want to be moving and doing stuff with all that caffeine you just intook. If you're just sitting around with that, you're going to feel jittery. There's nothing abnormal about that. It's completely normal. You don't necessarily have an anxiety problem if that's the case. It's just, that's what's going to happen. Try to, especially in the morning, as I keep saying, if you don't wake up and go to work immediately, if you don't work first shift, try to get some physical activity in, even if it's just 30 minutes, even if it's just stretching. Like, you don't even have to do any kind of intense exercises, or go for a run, those things can help. But I know for me, I sometimes have trouble like eating steady meals, like especially in the mornings. I don't feel hungry. That's another important thing I did forget to add to the list, is just eating breakfast in the morning. It seems simple, but if you skip breakfast, your body just is not going to be creating any fuels for you to run off of. It's your serotonin. A lot of that comes from your gut and what you eat, so that's going to make a difference as well if you're skipping meals throughout the day. Just try to eat something if you can at regular time periods throughout the day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so number 3, I have improper posture. I think probably more people than not have bad posture, because a lot of us are sedentary with our jobs, or even if we're not at work, we're sitting around on the couch, or just sitting in all these chairs and furnitures that are not really ergonomically designed. Like, I don't know, everything I sit on is I'm just like, why are chairs made this way? Like, nothing feels comfortable. I have to try to hold myself up, and you don't want to like force it. You don't want to try to force your posture into place. You want to be relaxed. You just want to make sure, especially if you're working at a computer, that you're not hunching forward with your spine arched, because that's just going to create a lot of pain in your neck, shoulders, lower back, mid back, everywhere pretty much, legs. I know I have a lot of aches and pains. That was the next point, actually, is anxiety. Just from that, just from waking up feeling like my body has been run over by a car, and that comes from poor posture, lack of activity, as I already said. Just need to work on, if you have a certain muscle area that's hurting, it may seem like you want to just let it rest, but really you should be focusing on building the muscles in that area. If you're having pain in a certain area, I didn't really understand that in my life, and I always just kind of avoided doing workouts, and just thinking that my daily activities were enough of a workout. But no, you actually have to put time into building your muscles in areas that have pain. That way it holds your joints in place better. I know I've had pain, partially from the improper posture thing, due to what's called anterior pelvic tilt, where basically your pelvis it's tilted forward a little bit, and that comes from that hunched over posture that a lot of us have when we're sitting at a desk or whatever working. Also comes from just having weak abdominal muscles and weak glutes as well. So those are good areas to focus on. There's all kinds of different exercises you can do. I would recommend checking, honestly, your own pelvis, just to see if it's tilted. Look up anterior pelvic tilt. Look at the images. It's really easy to tell if you have the tilt, whether it's forward or backward, or if you have a straight, strong posture. If you find that you do have a tilted pelvis, there's many different stretches, workouts you can do. Also, one thing I found is that it's important to sleep in a good posture as well, because you're spending potentially around 8 hours or so asleep, and you may move a little bit throughout the night, but if you get stuck in a bad posture and just sleep that way, it's going to affect the way it's going to affect your entire life, or at least it has mine. Now I actually sleep with a pillow basically under my butt if I'm sleeping on my back. And you also want to make sure the pillow that your head is resting on keeps your neck straight, and not forward like this. If your pillow's too thick and you're laying on your back, that's bad. You don't want to have your pillow too thin either, obviously. Anyway, so yeah, sleep posture, where was I? Next point here I have is improper breathing. This is something I've also had problems with. Just breathing really shallowly, like feeling like you have to activate these chest muscles here to breathe when it should really be coming from, down in your abdominal area. And it's something that you do have to practice, honestly, if you're just used to breathing shallowly, taking, chest breaths. That really, it causes anxiety. One of the best ways to stop anxiety is to start breathing properly. If you're not putting time into that, and if you don't focus on, practicing it, you're just going to continue to take those shallow breaths throughout most of the day, and that just, increases your heart rate and can even make you feel lethargic, I think. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I'm just going through my experience here with anxiety. I've had to sit down sometimes for an hour or two, in late at night, middle of the night, and just sit there in a good posture, sit on my bed or on my floor, and just practice breathing, sucking the air so that your stomach expands, not your chest area, and just slowing it down, making sure you're not hyperventilating. That's basically what you're doing, is you're hyperventilating when you're taking these short, quick chest breaths. It's interesting, I read recently that our breathing rate has increased over time, as society's changed and kind of the speed of things has gotten a little more hectic. Our rate of breathing has increased. Like we literally inhale and exhale like twice as much as people did like 50 years ago, and I thought that was pretty crazy, honestly. I'm sure a lot of people don't realize that they're even doing it. They're just so used to taking those quick breaths and not really paying attention to their breathing. That's been a huge factor of anxiety for me. And a lot of the previous points that I mentioned, just improving your posture, getting rid of, doing exercises to get rid of pain in certain areas of your body, whether they're stretching exercises or, actual physical workouts with weights or resistance bands or whatever. That managing the pain. Yeah, I forgot where I lost my train of thought. Anyway, that's important. So just to recap the 5 points I have, managing your caffeine and nicotine intake, number 1. Number 2, lack of activity. Try to get moving if you're feeling anxious. Try to do something, anything, chores, whatever you can. You don't want to be sitting still and just feeling that like awful, just unsettled feeling. It's the worst, honestly. It drove me to a horrible depression at a certain point, because I was just like feeling like, is this going to be my life every single day? Like I can't deal with this feeling like I'm going to die every second. And that's really literally how bad it was. I felt like there was just so much panic and energy in my body that I just felt like I was going to die, have a heart attack or something. A lot of people have that, sort of health anxiety, or it doesn't even have to be that. It can just be just this feeling of impending doom for no apparent reason. I found that a lot of that was from the aches and pains I was having. Anyway, improve those aches and pains. Number 3, fix your posture. Start doing the exercises. There's so much material on YouTube you can find. There's really no excuse not to do it. Just do a little bit every day. You don't have to just jump right into it and go crazy. Just make some incremental changes in your life. If you don't, nothing's going to change, and you're just going to keep feeling the same way. You have to use some of this energy that you have and just focus it into fixing this issue, because nobody wants to live with horrible anxiety all the time, of course. Yeah, so number 5, again, I said I kind of glossed over number 4 because that was aches and pains, but number 5, improper breathing. Work on that as well. Work on it before bed. Work on it in the morning for a few minutes when you wake up. Just take deep breaths and try to slow it down. Do meditation, whatever you have to. Alright, so that completes the list here. This was not a scripted video, so obviously I probably kind of got off topic in certain parts. But it's under 20 minutes, so I'd say that's a win. Alright, well, I hope these tips might help you somehow. I know they're helping me, even when I thought that, there was no hope and nothing I was doing was working. Just give it some time, stick with something. Do a 30-day challenge. Do whatever you have to do to just get yourself on a schedule to where, you're looking at your daily routine and you're just correcting these little things that can make a huge difference. Yeah, so that's my advice. I'll do videos in the future, maybe on this topic, just seeing where I've gotten with it over the course of a month or two. And yeah, I'll try to make them a little more scripted, I guess you would say. Alright, anyway, hope you guys have a good day, and I'm gonna go get ready for work. Feeling the anxiety already, but I'm managing it, so it's all good. Alright, peace out.